Hi class. Today we're going to be looking at Chapter 5, Interscholastic Sport. And here we're looking at focusing in high school sports. And so on your screen, again, you'll see your PowerPoint. I just wanted to point out a few things to you in this video. You will see a lot of arguments for high school sports, arguments against it. You guys can read through that. What I want to look at over the next few minutes is the National High School Sport Association versus the state level. I want you to understand those differences and why they exist and how they help and how they contribute to the success of sports. So you can read through, hopefully you've read through Chapter 5, and you will be able to pick out some of those differences. One thing I want you to understand is that on the National Association level, it's more of a support, more service-oriented versus authoritative. And so you'll actually find the real power, the real governing body and power and authority to make change and things of that nature lies within the state associations. All right, so under the National Federation of State High School Association, you've got all 50 states. You have all 50 states represented. They focus on making the rules for each of the sports, and you can find on their website, as well as in the text, some different goals and objectives that they have and how they support at the state level. What I want to pull up right now is a document that I found very intriguing. I wanted to share it with you. So here we're actually looking at the TSSAA handbook. Well, I was a high school and collegiate athlete, but here we're talking about high school athletics. And so this is something that we heard a lot about TSSAA, rules and regulations and things of that nature whenever I was playing high school athletics. A big issue and debate right now is eligibility. And so embedded in this handbook that was created by the sport governing body of TSSAA, embedded in this document, you will find anything and everything you need to know about eligibility. So if you live in Tennessee currently and you're or you work with, or you want to be an athletic director, you want to be a coach, this is the document that you would go to. This handbook looks differently depending on the state. So here we're just going to look at, this is page 43 of this 60-some page document, but I liked it because it was kind of the frequently asked questions, so kind of skipped through a lot of the other information that's not pertinent to us, but I thought it was interesting. We're studying sport governance. So if you start just reading through some of these, we're not going to read through all of them. You can see the website and can go visit this. Actually, I'll post this PDF for you. So how are members of the Board of Control and Legislative Council selected? You can see that there are annual regional meetings in the fall. Each school represented has one vote. So you can see, a couple weeks ago we talked about policy and procedures. We talked about strategic management, planning, organizing. That's what you see in this handbook on the screen. Let's see, as we scroll down, what procedure, again, you see some procedure questions and answered. Does the executive director, again, you're talking about that sport governing body, do they have a vote? And then you look at, can you vote, if you're on the board, can you vote in matters of your school? The answer is no to that. Let's look at school membership fees, sorry about that. Sponsored sports, some questions there. I wanted to get down to the eligibility. Non-faculty coaching, you see a lot of that today. Contracts, will the TSSAA enforce verbal contracts? Of course not. Everything has to be written in a binding contract. Enrollment and attendance questions. Now here you're starting to look at eligibility and gives you specific there's academic rules. Here's where some of you might find this interesting, especially those of you that want to go into coaching or work in the high school setting. And it gives you just an unreal amount of rules, policies, and procedures to follow, particularly looking at eligibility. And in this chapter, you do cover that. All right, so I'm going to post this for further review for you, but I just thought it was an interesting document. I thought it would help you gain a better understanding of the National Sport Association versus the state association. And the important thing to remember there is, the National Association is there for creation of rules for each of the sports, and they're there to support each state. The real power lies at the state association level, and so therefore each of those handbooks look very differently.